Hi, I'm Chris from Dynojet. In this video, we're going to install a Power Commander 5 with fuel and ignition control on this 2014 Polaris Ranger 800. This installation is fairly simple. To get started, we're going to lift the cargo bed and we're going to remove the bench seat. So the first thing I'm going to do in this installation is I'm going to secure the Power Commander module with the supplied velcro to the front face of the battery directly underneath the driver's seat. Here, directly in front of the battery, I can find the vehicle's ignition coil. I'm going to unplug the stock wiring harness from the ignition coil, and I'm going to plug the Power Commander harness in line with the coil and the stock connector for the coil. I'm also going to find a common ground right here on the frame behind the coil where I'm going to secure my Power Commander's ground wire with the ring lug. The next connection I'm going to make is to the fuel injector connectors. I can find the stock fuel injector connectors. They're both 2-pin connectors, one gray, one black. They're located right above the CVT clutch housing. I'm going to take the matching connectors from the Power Commander harness, one pair of gray and one pair of black, and I'm going to plug those in line with the stock connectors. Next, we're going to connect our Power Commander harness in line with our throttle position sensor. I've routed the Power Commander harness beneath the frame tube here, following alongside the stock wiring underneath the throttle body. And here on the right hand side of the throttle body, I can find my throttle position sensor. I'm going to unplug it, and I'm going to plug the Power Commander harness in line with the stock wiring harness and the TPS. Our last connection we'll need to get to is to our crank position sensor. Unfortunately, the crank position sensor connectors are right here on the back side of the engine, just rear of the starter motor. This intake tube going into the bottom of the airbox is going to need to be loosened to be able to access those connectors. We'll also need to cut a few zip ties that are in place. Now that I've loosened the intake tube from the airbox, I can access my crank position sensor connectors right here below that tube. That is a black 3-pin connector pair. I'm going to route the Power Commander harness with the matching connectors to that connector pair and plug it in line with those. And now that we have the harness plugged in, the last thing to do is tie up the harness so that it's free and clear of any hot or moving parts, and then we can reinstall the intake air tube in the bench seat and lower the cargo bed.